Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Black British Parent Podcast. And today we have a phenomenal guest. We have Ryan from Poetic Unity. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. We normally start this with a little bit of an icebreaker. Why did I pause there? Anyway,
Because we're in Brixton, you can hear that.
we normally start this with a little bit of an icebreaker if I remember to ask a question. But what's your favorite film?
Ooh. And by the way, I'm a film guru.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, so I've asked
Film's
the right
my thing.
person.
Yeah, you did.
So you might have a little bit of a struggle picking your
No,
favorite
I've got one that stands out. I would say Inception.
Inception? I think I've seen that one. I know I've
Christopher
seen that
Nolan directed it. Amazing movie. Came out 2010. Changed my life.
Yeah?
Yeah,
What was it about that changed your life?
I guess watching it, and we're going deep into it already, watching that movie is one of the reasons why Poetic Unity exists. Because when I watched that movie, it sparked an idea in my brain to actually write. A lot of the time when I watch movies, I get ideas to write poetry from movies, from the film scores. So there's a film score in the movie from a guy called Hans Zimmer, an amazing composer. And when I heard it in the movie, I was like, I just wanted to write. So I started writing a poem. It's actually my first ever poem I wrote, ever. And it was called Digital Slaves. I wrote it, and then I started performing at open mics. And then when I performed at open mics, it got such a great reception. I was like, I need to do spoken word full time. This is my thing. And that led to me starting Poetic Unity. If I never started writing poetry myself, Poetic Unity wouldn't exist. So that film has a special place in my heart, man.
That's the right question, straight off the bat.
Yeah, but there's loads of films, I'm not gonna lie, that are up there, but that one
is the one. Is that what happens in that film? I've seen so many films.
So Inception is basically, it's about how, it's basically like planting an idea into someone's brain.
That's it.
You
And
know
it
what
had
I'm
those little things that kind of help them come back into reality. I remember that one.
It's deep, man. It's
Mind-boggling. That was a good film still. Okay,
Yeah.
That's good. So you already kind of spoke a little bit on the inspiration behind Poetic Unity, but what kind of led you to expand it to the levels that you have, including other poetic creatives?
I guess Poetic Unity exists for so many reasons, but it kind of goes back to my experience as a child. So when I was in school, I got racist abuse from teachers. My voice was literally shunned by teachers. They called me a bad breed, do you know what I mean, for having a personality. And I got suspended, I think 10 times.
Gosh.
In secondary school. Nearly got excluded, never did, thankfully. But I never felt like my voice was valued, and that really, played a part in why Poetic Unity exists. Because one of our key values is to help young people find their voice and feel valued in the community. Do you know what I mean? So I guess that played a massive part, my school experience, and also my grandma getting diagnosed with dementia when I was 21. When she got diagnosed, I always tell people it changed my mentality. That was the key. At that time, I was young, cared about myself, cared about football, whatever. But then I started thinking about when she got diagnosed with dementia, I started to really hone in on supporting people in the community and helping people know more about what dementia is and how it affects people, do you know what I mean? So I started, me and my granddad actually, created an album called Paying Homage to the King. And it was paying homage to him because it was his music, he produced it. But we was raising money for people that suffer with dementia like my grandma. So we collaborated with a charity called Alzheimer's Society. And we raised over 10 grand from them through the album sales. And I was promoting the album for 4 years. It's the longest promo run ever. Do you know what I'm saying? But we was doing loads of talks in schools. I was taking it to universities, colleges. And also I was doing events where I put on other artists as well as performing the tracks myself. Obviously my granddad was a bit older in times there, so he couldn't perform himself. But he produced it and he loved it in it. So I think those two moments for me really changed my life as a person, and also really, it's a main reason why Poetic Unity exists, those two moments, I would say, because they shaped how I think. And then obviously after I did the stuff with the Alzheimer's Society, did that for 4 years, I then came up with the idea of Poetic Unity, going back to what I said about Digital Slaves, that poem from that. And then, like you said, it's expanded since, and we've been running for 9 years now.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, it'll be 10 years next year, which is crazy. And I guess we mainly exist to help young people find their voice, to create safe spaces for young people, and also to help young people reach their highest potential. We do this through different programs, different events, and we use poetry as a tool in all of our work. And I guess another thing that's really unique about our organization is that all of our team that deliver workshops, deliver programs, all of us are Black or Black mixed. And this helps us really connect with the community and have an understanding of what they're going through because we've been there ourselves.
Yeah, that's important. So it sounds like you're coming from a very creative family. Your granddad.
Yeah.
What type of music genre was that?
So he's Jamaican. So he used to do reggae, jazz, and what else he used to do? Soul. But that album was more kind of like jazz, soul, hip hop.
So you singing or rapping?
I was rapping on it.
Okay.
So this is when I used to rap. So when I first started doing music, I was 16. I was DJing at first. And then I started doing grime first, actually. That was the first like venture when I was 16. I used to be on radio. I used to be on Top FM.
Okay.
Yeah, which is based around here, actually. So big up them. And then, I got into rapping like when I was like early 20s. And then like from there, I just created that project with my granddad's. And I would say it's kind of like a jazz hip hop album.
Yeah.
So it's still on iTunes now.
I'll check it out. You have to let me know what it is and I'll have a look for it.
Man. Yeah.
Okay. So what kind you said you kind of work more with Black and mixed race children, well, Black and Black mix, right? So why is that and what made you kind of target that kind of demographic of people?
I think like it's really important to be intentional when you do anything in life. And I feel like, being mixed race myself, like, and again, my team having the same experience as myself, I feel like we have such a great understanding of what it's like to be marginalized from that group. And I feel like there's not enough of that specific support for that demographic in London. Do you know what I mean? Especially being from Brixton myself, like, and not just being Black mixed, but also being from the road, being like, I grew up on an estate. Do you know what I mean? Like I was doing stuff that I shouldn't have been doing when I was a child. You get what I mean? But like that gave me a really unique experience. So when I'm working with, especially like young men who have maybe
connect with them a bit better.
Yeah. So I think like I saw the value in like making that intentional, if that makes sense. Because if I didn't, who else is going to? And I'm not relying on other people to do the work that I think is important. Do you get what I'm saying? So that was always my reasoning for making it more intentional in that way. But also it kind of happened naturally because even when we started Poetic Unity, we didn't say from the get-go, this is what it is. It's kind of grown and we've been more intentional with our wording. But just naturally, like the community we're based in, the community we support, young Black people have just felt connected and felt safe to come to those spaces. I don't think there's enough spaces where young Black people feel safe and heard and able to connect with their peers, So I feel blessed that we can actually create that space for young people.
I think that's amazing. So why? I know we've kind of discussed what you do in that a little bit discuss it, but why do you think it's important that there's safe spaces for Black and Black mixed race people? Because the reason why I say that is because like sometimes when we have Black organizations and things of that nature, people from outside of our community seem to think it's problematic having those kinds of organizations. So in your words, why do you think it's necessary?
It's interesting, I think it's necessary because there isn't enough safe spaces for our demographic, for our community, and what we need is different to other groups. You get what I'm saying? Like and what we do is different. Do you get what I mean? And I think what's interesting, what I've kind of found as a leader in this field, is that I think being mixed race has kind of given me a privilege to be able to be very intentional with those wordings. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Do you get me? Because I think if I was like fully Black, people might say, that's not right, that's discriminative or whatever. Do you get what I mean? But because I'm mixed, it's almost like you can't say anything to me because I'm white as well.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, I understand, that's the thing, and that's what I think is really important to say. And I know this, and I've always known this as a mixed race person, is that I'm very intentional about using my privilege for the benefits of our community. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I can see what privileges I have and how that can benefit the young people I want to support. Do you know what I'm saying? And one of those things is like, I can say these things. Do you know what I'm saying? And also, I understand the white experience and the Black experience very well because I grew up with both my parents as well. Do you get what I'm saying? Which a lot of people can't say. So, yeah, I think that's a big reason why I can actually say it with chest, even though I say everything with chest anyway.
Yeah.
But I think like a lot of people might struggle to say it and feel like they're going to be ostracized or judged to say that that they're wrong for saying that. I don't think it's wrong. Do you know what I mean? I think it's clear we're in a country where Black people are oppressed. That's a fact. Do you know what I mean? If you want to get the stats out, we can go and get the stats out. But we don't even need to do that. We can just see it with our eyes. You get me? So I think, and what's interesting is, as much as our spaces are mainly for young black people, the white people and other demographics that come in that spaces, they feel comfortable and welcome too, because they're allies. They're not coming in that space, you know, like, oh, why is there so many black people here? No, they're coming in it feeling like they know what it is. Do you know what I mean? And they're like, this space feels great for me too. Do you get what I mean? So we're not ostracizing any demographic. It's just that we're very intentional with who we're supporting.
Yeah, and you definitely can feel the difference when it's the other way around.
Right.
When it's more of a white space and you're very few.
Yeah.
It's not exactly as
And that's a
welcoming.
very good point, because I'll give you an example. Like growing up here, like I never felt comfortable going to the theater. Do you get what I mean? Like with upper class white people, because I just felt like they wouldn't accept me. Do you know what I mean? And also I couldn't afford to go theater anyway. But I'm just saying, like, and that's something that a lot of our young people have struggled with. So because of that, we created a program called the No Cost in Giving program, which gives young black people free tickets to go to the theater, to go to the cinema and other cultural activities, but we go together. So if there is people that are like looking at them a bit funny, or like, right, we're in a group of 30, you're looking at all of us funny then.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? So
you feel a bit more comfortable with your group setting. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we're going, even, I'll give you an example. I haven't actually spoke about this. So we went to go see For Black Boys the other day.
Okay.
So if you haven't seen it, amazing play.
Yeah.
It's at the Garrick Theatre right now. I've seen it a few times. This is like the 4th time I saw it. And when we went to go see it, I saw it with a group of young black people. I think there was like 30 of us. Anyway, we was outside the building and a white guy, tried to trouble us. Like, as in like he walked past us, kind of barged one of our young people. And then one of the young people was like, this is so ironic that this is happening when we're at a play called For Black Boys. Do you get what I'm saying? He came from the play. The guy came from the play, came out, barged, and then he turned around, swore at one of our young people, and then walked off. And he felt comfortable doing that at a play called For Black Boys.
That is mad. That is mad wild.
Yeah. Exactly. So that was like, when that happened, it was like we all kind of, and again, we spoke, because every time we go to a theatre play or go to the cinema or whatever, we have a discussion after about what we've seen. And then we ended up talking about that for a long time, because it was like, it's so ironic that we've come to this space thinking we're going to feel safe. And then now we've come here and we're still feeling like we're not 100% safe. And that's what people don't understand is that, and again, when we talk about these things, we're not talking about all white people.
No.
Do you get what I'm saying? This is what white people get their backs up.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? It's not all white people, you know. I've got a white mum. Do you get what I'm saying? So I understand, like, it's not that deep. But what people need to understand is when we're saying specifically about white people is that we're talking about a generalization. And generally, a lot of them are not allies. And generally, a lot of them don't understand the communities that we're from. So when they don't understand things, they judge and they put us in certain boxes. You get what I'm saying? Hence what we see in the news more time, which I don't like watching the news because it puts us in a bad light.
Definitely, I hear you. You said your mum's white. How does your mum feel about the works that you're doing?
She loves it, man. Like, she's super supportive. Do you know what I mean? Like, she's always been my biggest fan, to be honest. Do you know what I mean? I have to big her up. I can't say nothing bad about my mum, man. She's always been great. But I think it's been a journey for her as well, like having mixed race kids. Like, I think like just because she's got mixed race kids doesn't mean that she understands black issues or the black community. Do you know what I mean? I've had to teach her a few things along the line. And I also, one thing I've always said to my mum, I always said to her, you know, don't think that because you've got mixed race kids that you can just chill and that's it. If anything, you need to be more active. So if something's happening, if you see someone being racially abused or someone says anything, even to you, and they think they can say it because you're white, make sure you call them out.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? And that's what we need from white people. They need to be able to call people out when we're not there.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%. Regardless of if you have mixed kids or not, especially if you've got mixed race children.
Exactly.
You have to be
Don't matter if you've got mixed kids or not. Listen, if you're just a good person, you should be calling out, because
100%.
Bearing in mind, I'm not just calling out things that are going against
black people.
It's
for anyone.
Any oppression.
Yeah.
And we was talking off camera about the Black Panther Party.
Yeah.
And I'm really passionate about that at the moment, because I'm doing a lot of research into them. And they were so misunderstood, man. Like, so many people think because they're called the Black Panther Party, they're only for black people. They did so much for anyone who was oppressed. And the reason why they got so big is because they had allies that were white, allies that were Vietnamese. Do you know what I mean? They had different allies across the board. And that's what we want to see at Poetic Unity. We're not trying to ostracize no one. Do you know what I mean? We want everyone to come together, but also we are very aware of who's the most oppressed and who needs the most support. And that's the facts. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's what we can see, and that's what we can only say what we can see and what's actually happening in the community, you know? So when I read into the Black Panthers, obviously they made some mistakes. They did some things that were great. Like the 10-point program was amazing. But for me, like, a lot of people have this misconception of them. And I think sometimes that could be a misconception with organizations, even like yourself. Do you know what I'm saying? And other organizations like that might put the word black, or even us, if they hear, because obviously Poetic Unity doesn't have the word black in the title, but when they might read our bio and see, oh, this is for black people mainly, they're like, oh, this organization, You don't get us. Do you know what I mean? If you
and
get
it's not for them then if you don't get it.
Exactly.
You know
but if you come to our space,
Yeah.
Our space is welcoming. It's the most welcoming space you can come to.
I can vouch for that. I've been to a couple of events, so yeah.
And I'm not saying this because I think it's the most welcoming.
Yeah.
I'm saying this because we've been going for 9 years, and every event we do, we have new people. We do over 100 events a year. We do like so many programs in schools across the country. Do you know what I mean? And this is something that's working. And the white people that do come to our spaces, they're supporting it. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like there's loads of white people that support our work. Similar again to the Black Panther Party, we have this. We have these allies.
Yeah.
And we, as you should.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean?
I think obviously that's why you're here. That I think what you're doing is amazing. And when I did attend like your events, it's always been very welcoming. And one of the things I said before as well off camera was that I like to see the intergenerational community come together, like seeing young people attend with their elders in the same spaces and enjoying the same entertainment together in these spaces. I think that's absolutely amazing. That's one of the things I definitely love about what you guys are doing.
Yeah, and I think it's really important. I think I said it to you off camera that it wasn't really my intention to do that when I started. It was mainly just for young people. But naturally, you know, older people have started to come to our events. And I think it's so great for them to be watching young people perform and supporting them and also giving them that wisdom.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? When they're off the stage. And I have to big up one of our like regular elders, Stephen Del Sol. He's 75.
Gosh,
He's been coming to our events now for 6 years.
Heavy.
Yeah, regular at the Black Culture Archives in Brixton.
Okay.
And he comes there all the time, and he's an amazing performer, great person, great energy. He's got more energy than some of the young people we support. Do you know what I'm saying? So like he's a great example of what our community is about. It's that, you know, and anyone that meets him just feels that warmth, and like he's a great example of what we're trying to achieve in terms of that intergenerational connection.
Yeah, it's using poetry for unity, innit? So I love that.
Poetic Unity.
Yeah. So like basically, how do you find how has poetry specifically been able to empower young people in your view?
So yeah, interestingly, like when I first started doing spoken word, but just before I started doing it, I thought it was super corny. I'm not gonna lie, I thought Shakespeare. Do you know what I mean? I'm from Brixton, innit? So like it's just like we don't do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
until you realize it's connected to hip hop. In some ways, yeah.
Yeah, rap stands for rhythm and poetry.
There you go.
You get what I mean? So like, and then obviously I found it out quite late. And again, I kind of stumbled onto spoken word. But when I stumbled onto it, I saw the power of it straight away because you're stripping everything away. And like, remember I said to you when I was a child, I didn't feel like my voice was valued in school. As soon as I started performing poetry, I felt like my voice meant something because everyone was listening to what I was saying and taking it in. And that's such a powerful thing, man. Like a lot of the time, young people just want to be heard. Do you know what I mean? And if you don't feel heard, how are you ever going to be able to reach your full capabilities? Do you know what I mean? Like you're going to just stay in a shell. And I think that's the power of poetry, is that it gives young people the opportunity to be the authentic self and feel like their voices are actually matter. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's beautiful. So what are some of the most memorable moments you've experienced while working with young people?
Ooh, so many. Because I've been working with young people now since I was 22.
That's a long time.
It's a long time, yeah. How am I now? I'm 36. What's that? 14 years? Yeah.
That's a whole lifetime.
That's a long time. That's a young person's life that we support right now. Do you know what I'm saying? What I would say I love about the work that I do is seeing the journey. So like some of our young people like start, for example, the older ones, they might start working with us about like 17, 18, and then now they're like 25, 26.
Yeah.
So seeing them like grow and like change, and like I've seen so many young people grow and change in such a short time as well, and it's been amazing to see their growth. I think for me, like I always remember like an experience of a young person joining us and then performing for the first time, how they respond when they perform for the first time. And me personally, ask anyone's watching this that knows me, I throw people in the deep end. You know what I mean? Like I feel like you throw someone in the deep end, they're gonna swim.
Yeah, sink or swim, innit? But you have to swim.
And if they don't, I'm still there to support you. You get what I'm saying? So I guess, I mean, there's no specific one moment, but I just think just seeing those journeys of those young people all the time, like and it's a revolving door, you know. We're seeing these young people all the time, and a lot, you know what's even, I'll say another thing that's really important to me is a lot of our young people that work with us, we support, then go on to work with us. So, which is really cool. Like, and again, like I said, I'm very intentional with what Poetic Unity is about. And I want it always to be young people delivering our sessions. So even, I'm not the face of Poetic Unity. Like, people might know, yes, I run it, but I'm 36 now. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm getting older. You know, I'm a young CEO, but in the rooms that I'm in with my young people, obviously I'm the oldest. So a lot of our delivery team are like in their mid-20s, early 20s.
Beautiful.
18, 19, do you know what I mean? Like, and that's intentional. Do you know what I mean? I want young people supporting other young people. I think that's really powerful.
So they're taking the lead, and they're inspiring. Exactly. Yeah, that's beautiful. That's wicked. So, can you tell us about some of the programs and initiatives that your organization does and the kind of support that they offer?
Yeah, so one that stands out to me is it's a program called Man Them Let's Talk. And I mean, I love the program because I know I would have needed it when I was younger, do you know what I mean? And understand the importance of it. So the whole point of Man Them Let's Talk is it's mainly a school program. We do it mainly in schools for like young boys between the age of like 10 and 16, so like late primary through to secondary school. And the whole reason why it exists is to help young men and boys speak about their mental health and feel comfortable and realize that it's actually normal to speak about your mental health. And at the end of the program, they know how to use poetry as an outlet for their mental health. So if they ever feel low, they know how to put it into poetry. So we give them that life skill. And I think people underestimate how important that is.
Yeah.
Life skills, like people think, life skill means you have to have a qualification.
Yeah.
No. Life skill can be literally teaching a young man how to use poetry when he's down. Because a lot of men, we don't like speaking. Do you get what I'm saying? But we don't always have to speak to someone. We can use the pen. Do you get what I mean? So that's the key, that's the main reason why that program exists, is to help young men, understand what mental health is, to normalizing it for them, and also helping them use poetry as an outlet when the program's finished, so that they can just use that for the rest of their life. Do you know what I mean? And know how to use that as a skill. That's
definitely important. I like that. It's like an early intervention before it gets too late, and it's something that they've grown with in the most crucial years.
100%.
So how do you navigate the challenges some young people have, they may have in facing and accessing creative outlets like poetry?
Yeah, a lot of young people we meet, especially in schools, are like, I get similar to me when I was in school, like they just don't really like poetry because of the way it's taught to them.
In school and stuff, in English, yeah.
Exactly. So in English, they just hear about Shakespeare, anthologies, and, you know, some of it they might actually like, but like a lot of it they just don't relate to. And I guess, you know, one of the hurdles we have when we go into a school is that. But the first thing we do when we go into a school, especially if we know young people are not really into poetry, is we just perform. As soon as we perform, those barriers are broken down, man. Do you know what I mean? And everyone's like, I didn't know that was spoken word. I didn't know that was poetry. Do you get what I mean? And then like straight away they're just hooked, and they're like, I really want to get into this. So I think that's the main boundary we kind of have with young people, is that they're not sure what poetry is, and the way it may be taught to them, it may feel like it doesn't connect with them, if that makes sense. But like we show them that there's another way, and that's why we like to call it spoken word as well. It's more performance based. So I don't know if you've ever heard the term of that. Poetry is for the page and spoken word is for the stage.
Yes, I have.
Yeah. So like, I would say we're more of a spoken word based organization. We do some page stuff, but mainly performance based.
How does the schools respond to that? I mean, obviously they're happy to have you in their buildings while you're there in the first place, but how do they, what's their feedback after you've done your sessions?
Yeah, I think at first, like, it was quite difficult to get into schools because, I mean, they did contact us first actually through like people coming to our events. So they did say like, we want you to come in and whatever, but they were more one-off, you know, tick a box type workshops. We had this organization come in and blah, blah, blah.
A diverse group.
Exactly. Black people, you know what I mean? Like, it came in and they did something. So it's like, it weren't really hitting. We want long-term success. We don't want to just have a one-day impact. We want to be able to support these young people for a long time. So thankfully now we've got contracts with schools where they're like a year long, or like at least like a minimum like 10 weeks. Do you know what I mean? That was difficult at first, but I think schools really took to our work straight away. They liked it, but schools always tell you they ain't got money. Yeah. But it's priorities, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? Like, every school has money, but it's what their priority is and how they want to spend that money, if that makes sense. So that was mostly, I'd say that was the most difficult thing, kind of showing the value of our work. They definitely thought it was important, But I don't think they understood the real value of the work. But now we've got like 4 or 5 schools that like we're regularly going to.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Well done.
thank you. Yeah. So like we go to other schools like here and there. But one of my rules with schools now is if we're coming in for a day, it has to be that if it's successful the first day, then we're looking at long-term work. It's not coming in for a day to tick a box. I'd rather not do it personally.
Yeah, I can appreciate that. That's powerful. Yeah. What advice would you give to other aspiring social entrepreneurs looking to make a difference in their communities?
I would say be very clear about why you're doing it. Because the why is so important, and also be very clear about the need. When I started Poetic Unity, I didn't officially register as an organization straight away. I said, I'm going to trial and error this for 6 months and see if this is needed in the community, because if it's not, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't do it because I got an ego. I mean, we all got egos, but I didn't do it because this is going to like stroke my ego or I'm going to be this or that. It was literally, I saw a need and I thought, let me see if this works. And then thankfully it did. But if it didn't, I'd have been like, cool, you know, this is a good 6 months. I'm not going to do it no more. So I think knowing the why you want to do it, that purpose was obviously driven from my time in school, obviously what my nan went through, and my mentality changing to thinking about we as a community, also understanding what the need is. And I'll say that probably the key thing when you got those two in place is investment. Investing your time into your idea, into your business, to your charity, wherever it is, and really putting time and effort into it, and also investing money into it. Like I remember when I first started Poetic Unity, I was working 2 side jobs. I used to work in retail and I used to work on my dad's business. And I wasn't making hardly any money. I was probably scraping by, paying bills. Obviously I was living with my parents at the time. And I put every little penny I had, do you get what I mean, into Poetic Unity when I first started it, like thousands of pounds over the period of time. Do you get what I mean? But people don't see that side of it. You get what I mean? They just see, oh, it's doing this now. Yeah, you get what I mean? But I would say the money's not the most important because not all of us have money, and I didn't really have money. The time I put into it was the key. I put in so much time into Poetic Unity, like I made sure it was a priority. So there were certain times I didn't go out with my friends because I was like, I need to build this business. I need to build this organization. So that's what I would say. The why, the needs, investment.
I like that. Thank you. Some good advice there. How do you think parents can best support young people in exploring and expressing themselves through poetry or other creative means?
Listen to your children, man. I'm not saying that your children are always going to say the truth. Do you get what I mean? I know I lied as a child. But listen to what they're interested in. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, listen to what they're interested in. Don't force it. Like, even when we go to a school or something, we don't force poetry on young people. Like, so if we're doing a workshop with a group, we'll give people options. Do you know what I mean? So we'll say, look, you don't have to look at it as a poem. You can just look at it as you're putting your thoughts on a page. You can even do it as a rap. Do you get what I mean? Like, however you want to do it. And sometimes with, parents of their children, they could do the same thing. Lean into what your children enjoy.
Yeah.
Because learning should be enjoyment.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? It should be enjoyable. Like, I was talking about this the other day. Like, I stopped reading for a long time because I was just like, this isn't really for me. I don't find it enjoyable. I'm reading about the Black Panthers a lot right now. And I find that enjoyable because knowledge I want to learn.
It's something you're interested in.
I'm interested in it. You get what I'm saying? Whereas the stuff I was reading when I was younger, I was like, Macbeth or Henry VIII. I'm like, bruv, it's not really my thing. Do you know what I'm saying? But this Black Panther thing, I'm like, yo. And also I'm learning for Poetic Unity as well as a reason why I'm doing it. It's not just, I'm learning from there.
I was about to ask you, what's kind of like pushed you into studying about the Black Panthers?
And you know what, I watched the doc again, going back to my film and my TV bag. I watched a documentary called Dear Mama. So it's about Tupac and his mum. It's directed by one of the Hughes brothers. One of the best documentaries I've ever seen. And when I watched it, it's the first time I saw loads of stuff about Tupac I've never seen before, and I've seen all these documentaries. But it's the first time I've really learned about his mum. So his mum was a Black Panther, and it really broke down like kind of what she did as a Black Panther, and there was other Black Panthers being interviewed in the documentary as well. And I remember like there was a scene where this guy said that a black guy joined the Black Panthers, and he said, I just want to kill white people. That's what he said. He's like, I'm joining this to kill white people. And then one of the Black Panthers overheard him. So he goes, oh, yo, hey you, I just heard you say something, man. What are you saying? He's like, yeah, man, I'm here, I'm ready to kill, blah, blah, blah. And then my man, the leader, one of the leaders said, look, the only weapon you need is this. Dropped a bunch of books on the table, like 5 books. I said, this is what you need. Do you know what I mean? We only have the guns for protection. We're not trying to kill people. We have it to protect ourselves. Do you get what I'm saying? And that was such a powerful thing when I saw that. And the books he put, I bought all those books straight away. I was like, from when he's talking like that, I need to learn how he was thinking, because this was like years ago, the 60s, 70s, you know what I mean? So that documentary, again, changed my life again, because I've got probably 10 books now just on Black Panthers, different perspectives, you know what I mean? Some more autobiography, some are more about the organization in general, do you know what I mean? And when I started looking into them, I started really seeing the synergy between the Black Panthers and Poetic Unity and what we do and their 10-point program. And I was like, boy, I need to learn from these guys, man. They did some amazing things and they made some big mistakes. I don't want to make. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So yeah, so that documentary was key for me. And now I'm just back in my reading bag.
Yeah, I love that. I love the fact that we can, and that you have as well, been able to tap into things of the past and be able to learn from both the mistakes and the what's the word, the great things that they've been able to achieve. I think that's so important 100%. That a lot of us younger people, I say us loosely, but a lot of us younger people aren't necessarily tapping into as much. Again, that generational thing, we think that's in the past, it's got nothing to do with us, but it's the blueprint sometimes,
100%. Even with Tupac, for example, a lot of people hold him in high regard, as they should. But his mum was on job. Yeah. His mum was a real one, boy. I'll tell you, his mum did bare big things for the community, man. Yeah. But I never heard about it because that's Tupac's mum. Yeah. You think Tupac first, you get what I'm saying? But listen, telling you now, Tupac's mum, Afeni Shakur, she was on stuff. Even going back to talking about people kind of more behind the scenes, even looking at Denzel Washington. Everyone thinks Denzel Washington, but his wife, she is on job. Yeah. And he'll tell you that. Anytime I see him talk about her in an interview, he's like, yo, without her, and that goes back to my wife. My wife has held me down so much, you know what I'm saying? And I think these are the people behind the scenes who are really, I guess, integral in the success.
To the fabric of, yeah.
And also not just the success in terms of it's also holding me accountable.
The grounding and the foundation.
The integrity, do you know what I mean? Authenticity, all these things that are really important. You need that, do you know what I mean? When I was young, and I started Poetic Unity, the idea came when I was 26. And as a man, you're still very young at that age, man. And I think if I didn't meet my wife at that time, I don't think I would be where I am now with Poetic Unity. Nah, because she gave me stability, and she helped me with my direction, and also I just kept my head on the right path, where I feel like I could have gone left and right. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. So I feel we need that ground, like you said, that grounding, with our partners or people in general that are around us. So yeah,
it's really important for us to be able to tap into inspiring and supportive people, and be able to be the kinds of families that are able to support our young people in what they're doing as well, because a lot of us aren't necessarily coming from supportive families. Do you get what I'm saying?
Exactly,
so sounds like you've had quite a lot of support, and I like that.
I've had enough support, man. And that's why I say I'm blessed. I always tell young people now, if you live at home with your parents and you've got a good relationship, stay there as long as possible. Especially if you're trying to build a business. Yeah. Because that's why I could build Poetic Unity as well, because I lived at home with my mum and dad, and they gave me that grace to say, you ain't got to pay rent sometimes, you know what I mean? As long as you're doing what you're doing, and it's something positive, do you get what I'm saying? And without them, I wouldn't be where I am either. So I think having that foundation of my parents, my grandparents, my wife, do you know what I mean? And also I've got close friends around me that will yo, Ryan, what's good? You know what I'm saying? They'll say something.
Yeah, if you're falling off the path of that, now, man,
they'll say something, you know what I
mean?
So I like that. I don't like yes men around me. I want people that will hold me accountable and
that will challenge you as well, man. Yeah, it's definitely necessary. Yeah.
You know what I mean? None of us are always right. You know what I'm saying? We all got our own hang-ups. And I think as I've got older, I've understood myself better as well. Do you get what I mean? And understand why I think the way I think. Yeah. So yeah, I think having those people around are essential to being successful, whatever that means to you as well. Because success is different.
Looks like different things for different people. Yeah,
man. Money isn't success, by the way. Yeah. Success is my purpose. I'm living my purpose. That's success.
And the community,
saying?
that the village that you have around you as
Yeah.
well is
Yeah,
a
yeah,
representation of your success too.
100%. Like and that's what I'm saying. Like, if I'm doing well, but the community isn't, it's not success. Do you get what I mean? That doesn't make sense. So and again, one thing I will say about the poetry scene in general, I remember when I first started doing Poetic Unity, so many poets weren't getting paid. So many poets are doing it for free. Poetry people are some of the most humble people you meet, you know? Super humble people. And they're just happy to be there, happy to share their message. Because obviously poetry is very personal, it's very deep 9 times out of 10. So people just want to share. But one thing I did when I started Poetic Unity, I said, everyone's getting paid. If you're doing a featured show with us, like, and you're a featured act, even if it's £30, £50, whatever it is, you're getting paid something. I don't want anyone to come to my event and feel like they've lost money. Do you get what I'm saying?
It's cost them to be there.
Yeah, exactly.
And also cost them like something beyond what money can compensate for, sharing that part of your soul.
Exactly. Yeah. So for me, that was really important, because I know for me, I ain't going nowhere to perform. And then open mic's different. Open mic, you've gone there on your own accord. But if you're going as a featured poet, someone's put me on a flyer.
Yeah.
Do you get me? Poets are being put on flyers and not being paid.
That's crazy.
I'm like, bro, this can't happen on my watch.
And you would never know, as someone who's like a person that's gone to an event, you would have no idea.
No idea. And so many poets have said to me, Ryan, the first ever paid performance was with Poetic Unity. So many. Hundreds. No
That's
word
an
of a lie.
achievement.
Yeah. So that to me is where that's where we're helping the community thrive. Do you know what I'm saying? By putting money back into each other. It's not, yes, we can talk about money not being the most important thing, but it's very important to be successful in anything you want to do. So I've always wanted to make sure that we play a part in that. Obviously, we can only do so much as one organization, but I feel like the way we've moved has helped other people move that way. Because I know people that have started their own organizations because of Poetic Unity, and now they make sure they pay their poets. Because they know as well, I will find out. And they'll hear from me, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, what's going on, man? You know how we do the thing. Don't do the thing wrong now, you know what I'm saying?
Fix up.
Yeah. So I think people lead, when you lead by example, that's the most powerful way to lead.
100%.
It's not about dictating. I'm not here to dictate to no one. Do you know what I'm saying?
Let's talk more action.
Exactly.
We were saying that before.
Yeah. And I've been saying before, I'm talking now because the action's happening.
Yeah.
You understand? So, yeah.
I like that. Okay, so in what ways do you believe that poetry can help young people navigate challenges such as like mental health issues and social pressures?
I think like poetry brings people together. So you can connect with other like-minded people in the community, which is key. You know what I mean? I think none of us, so many people are isolated now, but as humans, we're meant to be around people.
Hey family, we hope you're enjoying the show. If you want to stay up to date with all things Black British Parent, we've got the perfect way for you to do just that. Join our mailing list and be the first to know about new episodes, exciting news, and upcoming events. It's super easy to sign up. Just head over to our website and into your email. Don't miss out on the latest from Black British Parent. Join our community today. Now, back to the show.
Because I've always had quite good mental health. And I've always like, why have my mental health always been so good? I couldn't put a finger on it for a long time. I was like, I know why. I always say how I feel. To the point where sometimes to my own detriment.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
I can relate.
You get me? Yeah. Some point, like my wife would say, you didn't need to say that. I was like, I needed to say that.
Yeah, I needed to. You may not wanting to hear it, but yeah.
I needed to say that for myself.
Yeah.
And there's been times, listen, there's been times where I haven't said something that burnt me, man, for days.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? I've been like, why didn't I say that? And then if I say it now, it's too late because the time's gone. So I think for me, like, that's really important. Like, being able to express yourself is so important. And I think that's one of the reasons why my mental health has been so strong is because, not because I'm Superman or something, anyone can go through a mental health at any point. It's just I've always expressed myself and I've always made that a really important thing for me.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people don't do that. Do you get what I mean? And again, it doesn't have to be speaking. It could be writing a poem or could be listening to music or, do you know
Painting
what I mean?
Whatever
a picture
or drawing.
Yeah, drawing. It could be you go to the gym. Do you know what I'm saying? There's loads of ways to get that energy out. But yeah, I guess poetry is just a really good way of doing it.
I kind of imagine it's kind of similar to journaling, the concept of being able to write and release the pressure off of you with writing and stuff. That's awesome. I've not been that creative with poetry. I can't do it. I've not tapped into that side of me, but I've got people around me that just naturally it just flows out and it's so mind blowing. I wish they did more with it.
I hear you.
Do you know what I'm saying? I guess it can be challenging in that kind of medium of art and creativity to find places where you can more than benefit mentally, like you can actually gain something from it as well, like you're getting something in return. So yeah, that's what, again, I keep shouting your praises because I think what you're doing is amazing. I think it's necessary, and obviously the proof is in the pudding. It's actually helping so many people.
Yeah, and I think going back to you saying people getting something from it, it's not just about, we was obviously saying we're putting money back into young people's pockets. It's not just about that. Do you know what I mean? It's like we're pouring into their soul. Do you know what I'm saying? Like the community is.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They're getting so much from the community. They're building these connections. Right. They're making these connections.
And they're able to connect with people that might not have the words to say or express the same experiences as well. So I think that's amazing.
And I was talking to my brethren over there, but there's some people have met their significant others.
Wow.
At our events. And like one of my brethren now, he's been with his missus maybe like 8-9 years.
Gosh.
Do you know what I'm saying? And they made it official at one of our events.
Wow.
And I was like, yeah, this is what we do. Bring people together. Do you know what I mean? Like, and even like me and my missus, like we met just before Poetic Unity started, but I think that that community and her being so involved in Poetic Unity, because she's a trustee as well, I think like really connected us more. That makes sense, because she really understands. She's a creative herself, so she understands the grind. She understands the creativity, and be in a certain way. Because it's difficult being with someone like me, you know. Do you know what I mean? Me and my missus talk about it a lot, like, because the way I think, I'm not a normal person. Like, I could, even if I wasn't doing Poetic Unity, I would never be doing a 9 to 5. I'd be doing something creative in some way, shape, or form. And I think because I'm so purpose-driven and so passionate about what I'm doing, that always comes first. Do you know what I mean? That's why I exist. You know, people ask people, why do you exist? Why are we here? I'm not here because I'm Naomi's husband. Do you get what I mean? Or I'm Eddie and Lisa's son. Do you get what I mean? That's not why I'm here. I'm here because I want to bring light into this dark world. That's my purpose. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm doing with Poetic Unity. So that's what comes first. And that's difficult to be with someone like that because, listen, the amount of time and effort I put in, and even now I'm still investing so much time and effort into my purpose. And I guess like it's a blessing to know what I'm here for, but also in some ways it can be detrimental to people around me who obviously want the best of me and they love what I'm doing, but also they want to spend more time with me. We want to do stuff together, and I'm trying to find that balance. But it's not easy.
I can imagine. Definitely, I can probably relate in many ways. Okay, so what are some of the misconceptions people might have about using poetry as a tool for personal growth and social growth?
Yeah, I think people just think it's like, they don't realize the power of it because they just think, oh, it's just words, you know, and sometimes, you know, words ain't actions, as we were talking about earlier, you know. So I think that's the misconception. And also just the fact that poetry isn't really mainstream. So people are like, oh, you know, I think George the poet is like the main poet that's actually making like a living as a poet. So people don't really talk about poetry like that as much. So it's very underground still. It's got up there more now, but I think like it's still very underground. So people don't understand it. That's the word I'm looking for. People don't understand poetry and its power. But I think it's changing slightly as time goes along.
Do you think social media has helped with that?
Yeah. Because with social media, we do a lot of poetry around like a lot of like, you know, crucial issues in the community. And when you see that in a poem versus seeing someone just speaking about it, it's a different thing. You get me? Like it's more digestible hearing it as a poem, and you're more likely to take it in because it's actually entertaining as well. Do you get me? Whereas if someone like, you know, wrote a book, a 1,000-page book about a subject, but you can digest that same subject in 2 minutes in a poem and it's more engaged. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's not against the book, but sometimes you ain't got that time for that book and you need it in that poem. And also I'm a visual learner myself. That's why I've always found it difficult to read because that's not my natural way of taking in things. I've always been like a visual learner. So films, documentaries, I've learned so much through those things. And I guess, you know, there's loads of people out there similar to me who want to be visually educated. And poetry does that. Do you know what I mean? It touches on crucial issues that are going on in a really creative way and in a way that you can like enjoy it as well. Enjoy it and then like engage with it.
And it can be even more hard hitting than music, because music,
100%.
you know, travels the world in different ways. But
Yeah.
when I hear someone spit some spoken word, it just
It just goes in. I think I would argue that it's the most powerful art form. I mean, I'm obviously a bit
gonna be
biased.
biased, yeah.
But
I'm here for it.
I've dabbled in music. I've dabbled in, like, I used to DJ, I used to rap, I used to do grime, as I said earlier. And none of them gave me that feeling.
Of course.
And don't get me wrong, there's definitely some songs out there, music-wise, that give you that feeling.
That are
100%,
very powerful
100%.
and influential.
But I would argue spoken word with a bit of music behind it, like not like a beat, but like a film score, like something to add that emotion. Put a spoken
Something
word on
that
top
complements it.
Yes, put a spoken word on top of that.
Yeah,
you're gone. That's the most powerful thing.
I think that's some of the things with music. I love music, by the way.
Yeah, same.
You know, music can sometimes be overshadowed by the beat.
100%.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the message goes away a bit.
Yeah,
and that's how I felt as an artist. Like when I was doing music, I always had a message, but I felt like people were waiting for the chorus.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not here just for the chorus, mate. I'm here to, you know, give you some knowledge.
Yeah.
You understand? So I think where spoken word, everyone's listening to every single word. Every word matters in spoken word.
Yeah.
I don't feel like that the same way of music.
Yeah.
There's some artists that move like that.
Of course.
You know what I mean? Like the Kendricks and...
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? Those types of people, I think every word matters to them. But...
you can still miss it though because of the melody or the beats or the chorus. So,
Even when you think of like Kendrick Lamar, like you think of his like main songs, you kind of think of the chorus first.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? Whereas if I'm thinking of poets, I'm thinking of the lines.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking they haven't got a chorus.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking what lines stick out to me that they say and the message. So yeah.
I feel like kind of J. Cole is more closer to balancing it out a little bit.
He's a soulful guy still.
Yeah.
I like J. Cole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, how do you foster a sense of community and inclusivity with Poetic Unity's programs and events?
I guess for us, like, the most important thing that we have, and I tell people this all the time, we don't have this, we don't have anything, is we have a safe space. If we don't have that, we can't do events, we can't do workshops.
What is a safe space to you?
So to me, a safe space is a place where you feel like you can be your authentic self and not feel like you're going to be judged. So anyone that comes into, and the thing is about it, safe space is kind of like I'm saying it like there's some sort of formula. I can't even really tell you the formula of it.
It's a vibrant energy,
It's a vibrant, vibrant energy, like you said. And like when you come to our spaces, you'll just feel it straight away that this is a space where you can meet someone for the first time and become friends. Mm-hmm. Do you get what I mean? Like the amount of times people come to our spaces and they just make friends and then...
I certainly can vouch for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you make friends at our event?
Well, not quite so, but in the space where I was an audience, like the group kind of worked together. But again, the way that your formula in your events encourages that and allows that to happen. Do you get what I'm saying? So even if you're the most introverted person,
exactly,
you kind of naturally come out of your show in that space in your environments that you've been able to create and put together. So
and I'll say we're very aware of that. Sorry, we're aware that some people don't want to be talky, and do you know what I mean? And they're a bit more of an introvert, and that's cool. Do you get what I mean? Like, you know what I mean?
No one feels away because of that.
Exactly.
But there's room for you to come out your show as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like, we're not here to judge anybody, no matter what background you're from or like any challenges you have. We just want to be a supportive community and like create a space where everybody feels like they can be their authentic self and like they can connect with the community. Do you know what I mean? So I think that safe space, that I don't know how that formula has been created. I just think it's the energy, like I said, the energy that
you can't fake it.
You can't fake it. Yeah, the energy that I have and that I've now installed into the team. Like when you go to a Poetic Unity event, you know what it is. You know.
And there's whoever, like, people gonna align with that energy. The energy you put out, people gonna align with it. So you're gonna attract the people that are on that same kind of frequency. So
it's really interesting as well. Some people ask. Obviously, we've probably since I was 22, I've ran over 1,000 events easily.
Gosh,
100%. Like.
Congratulations.
That's crazy.
A lot. You put the work in.
It's a lot. It's a lot. You know what I mean? I've definitely ran over 1,000 events. I was thinking about it the other day and I was like, someone asked me the other day, have you ever had trouble at your events? And I was like, probably like twice.
Gosh.
I can think of in 14 years. And again, that goes back to what you said, the energy. And the two times that there was a little bit of trouble, they weren't in the right space. They came with the wrong energy and like they didn't come back.
Yeah.
Because they didn't
couldn't align with
They
it.
couldn't align with the energy.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? And it wasn't, it's almost like they thought it was something else. And then when they came in, it was like, oh, this isn't for me. So then they've you know what I mean?
Which is mad because the title is Poetic Unity. So you're there for unification in some kind
But
of way.
you know what? Sometimes it's not, in both occasions, the people that caused some issues, they didn't come because they wanted to come. They came because their friend brought them. Do you get what I'm saying?
And their friend probably just wanted them to align with that energy, but it weren't. Yeah, that's mad.
And like one of the times was at a Poetic Unity event and another time was before Poetic Unity. So it's only been once in 9 years, I would say, that I was like, there's a bit of an issue here that we need to resolve. And then, yeah, and once before that, when I was doing events before Poetic Unity, there was another time. And that's it. And like, that goes to show you that we're bringing, like, people feel the energy before they even come.
20, over how many thousand? And only like
definitely over 1,000 events, 100%.
That's mad.
Definitely.
That's crazy.
I'll count one day. One day I'll get my...
but again, in terms of like the ratio, you know, I think that's really something to be proud about still.
Yeah. And I think that's because, like you said, energy can't be faked. You know what I mean? And I think like, if you go to a certain type of event, I've been to loads of raves, for example, I know there's going to be trouble there.
Certain energies.
Certain energies going to be in that room. Certain energies ain't coming to our space.
Yeah.
Because they know it's not that. And and also they don't fit in those spaces. You get what I'm saying?
They'll stand out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And people don't want to stand out. They want to just, you know.
Yeah.
So I think and again, that's why I don't even go raving anymore as well. Like I said to my friend the other day, I was like, he's got a birthday coming up. And he's like, oh yeah. I said, listen, if you're going raving, I ain't coming to that part. Invite me to the other bit that you're doing in the daytime, whatever. Because for me, I don't want to be around certain energies.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like those days are done for me. Like when I was a kid and, you know, younger, I think we need to be intentional about the energy we want to be around. I don't need to go to a club anymore. I've been that. I've been done that. Do you get what I'm saying? If I go to a club now, it's very rare. And if I can avoid it, I will. Do you get what I'm saying? Because I just feel like I'm going to be 9 times out of 10 in the energy that I don't want to be around. And this is the thing. When you do get older, you realize a lot of things are in your control.
The choices you make.
Choices you make, man. You know, obviously there's sometimes you might go on a train and something might happen, and that's obviously not your fault. But like the spaces you go to, you can choose where you're going.
And even in, like you said, we could go on a train and anything happen, how you respond to it, you know, it's still a choice to some degree. So
yeah, 100%, man. So everything, there's an element and choice in our life that we have control of.
Yeah.
That I think a lot of people don't really think about.
Yeah.
And they just go out because their friend's going somewhere. I'm not going somewhere if I don't feel it.
Yeah.
My best friend could be like, oh, I'm going here for my birthday. If I'm not feeling it, I'm not going.
Yeah. 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 I like to hear that.
Yeah.
So can you share any upcoming projects or initiatives that's coming? I mean, we're not sure exactly when this is going to be aired, but
yeah.
you know, hopefully if it's aired after, it was a great one.
Yeah.
But if it's before, let us know what's going on.
I would just say, like, for the rest of the year, like, we're intending to do, you know, more events like around collaborating poetry with other mediums. So obviously comedy.
Okay, that's nice.
You know what I mean? Like, and obviously stuff
which I think you mastered anyway.
Yeah.
I was barely laughing at.
No, it's jokes. I mean, just more of those types of events I think are really cool. More events that bring the audience into the event, so like they participate.
You do that quite well as well.
No, I appreciate that. Yeah, try and do that more. And also just more programs to support young people's mental health, education. We've got some really exciting programs starting. And obviously the programs that we've got now, we're developing them and taking them further, like the Man Them Let's Talk program. We're trying to take that to other schools in the UK, not just in London. Mm-hmm. So we've got connections in Birmingham, Manchester, some connections in Scotland as well. So we're trying to go different places across the UK now. And I think that's the main thing to say, like, to look out for, is that we're growing as an organization. We're trying to go to different places across the world. And I always tell people, Poetic Unity to the world. And this is one thing I always say. I don't think I've said this on a podcast or anything properly yet, but I see Poetic Unity similar to Jamaica. So, you know, in Jamaica we say, we're little but we're talawa. Yeah? That's the same with Poetic Unity. We're small, but we're talawa. Yeah, we're strong. You get me? And like, I feel like Poetic Unity can have such a massive impact worldwide, just like Jamaica has. Yeah. And that's why I feel like, I mean, I'm saying that because Jamaica's is great and obviously I'm biased, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But Jamaica's had a massive impact across the
Of
world.
course.
Do you get what I mean?
Very subtly, but very prominent as well. Like, it's mad. Yeah.
Food, music, culture.
100%.
Do you get what I
How
mean?
we talk.
Language.
Yeah.
And I feel like Poetic Unity can have that impact worldwide as well.
That's nice.
And that's the plan.
Yeah, man. I'm loving all of this. I'm loving the sound of what's to come, and I appreciate what you have been doing. I swear I've been saying that so much times throughout this episode. So how can individuals or organizations get involved and support the work of Poetic Unity?
We love collaborating, man. Like, we love partnerships. So, like, if anyone's interested in like partnering, they've got an idea or they just want to have a conversation, I always tell people, you know, I'm always open to having a meeting, you know, getting people say a coffee, I'm a mint tea guy, getting a mint tea or a lemon and ginger, like, or just even a Zoom or whatever. Do you get what I mean? Like, I think I'm always open, as long as the organization that we're partnering with has similar values to us. It doesn't matter if you're doing something completely different. There could be some synergy there, you know what I mean? So always open to having those conversations. If you're a young person that just wants to get involved in our work, the best thing to do is follow our Instagram at Poetic Unity, because everything gets posted on there. Obviously our website as well, poeticunity.org.uk. But I would say, like, yeah, partners just like get in contact with us, man, like, and just see what we can do together. And again, young people, just keep a lookout of all the programs. Most of the stuff we do are free for young people as well. And even the ones that where events are might have a cost, we usually do subsidized for young people, or we'll have a certain amount free for young people as well. And obviously look out for sign up to the No Cost in Giving program. If you're young and black or black mixed, sign up to that. You get free opportunities. If you're between the age of 12 and 30, you get free opportunities to go to the cinema, theater, cultural activities in general. And that's just dope. That's just like, and obviously I get to go as well, so I'm like enjoying it. You know what I mean? Like, and it's really cool because it's almost like, it's almost adding another element to what we do, because obviously when people come to our events, we have that community vibe anyway. We have those conversations after, but we're more intentional with those conversations after we've watched something together. If that makes sense. We've gone as a group, and you get to know each other more. Like, young people get to connect with each other more because we've all gone together. So I like that about it. So yeah, if you're interested in that, that's on our website. Just type in our website and then you'll find on there the No Cost in Giving program.
Wicked. How do you see the future of youth empowerment and creative expression evolve in the coming years?
It's going to be difficult, man, because society's just getting harder. Do you get what I mean? But I think, and I said this before, it's bittersweet for us, because I think the harder life gets, the more Poetic Unity is needed. Do you get what I mean? And also the harder life gets, the more poetry is needed, because poetry is political. And it's like, it's allowing young people to actually have a voice on important topics. Do you get what I'm saying? So I think, even though it's going to be harder, I think it's actually going to be more of it, because you can see what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
The world's mash up. Do you know what I mean? So like, what's going to happen from that? We're going to rebel. People are going to say what they got to say, as they should. Do you get what I mean? Like, and it's not, we're not living in a dictatorship, not yet anyway.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, that's a question mark anyway, because some things we can't say. You get what I'm saying? So there's another question on that. But I think, like, I just think young people, and what I love about Gen Z and the other generations coming up is they're not scared to say how they feel. And I promote that all day long, because I feel, as a millennial, I feel like we're kind of a balance. Like, there's some of us that are really like, yo, I'm saying what I'm saying. There's some of us that are a bit more chilled, and with young people coming up, they're just like, yo, I'm saying what I'm saying, and you're going to hear what I'm saying. So, and I think that's the way. You have to be very open about, you have to do the education, understand what you want and why you want it and why it's important for the community. And also, like, you have to voice it.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? And I think what's really important for us now, as time goes on, as we get older and whatnot, and for the next generation, is that we work as a collective. It's not this individual thing. Do you know what I mean? This individual thing don't go nowhere. So, you know, I know a lot of like people that do art and, you know, do music and whatnot. And sometimes I look at them and I'm like, you know, some of them that are not doing as well as they want. I'm like, because you're not bringing people to, it's not just about the music. The music could be great, but what are you doing for the people? People, we've got Spotify, we've got millions of people making music now. It's oversaturated. But what is your music? How are you connecting people? And that's what I always thought about when I thought about Poetic Unity. I said, how can I bring the people together? It's not about me as an individual. Do you know what I mean? When I'm long gone, Poetic Unity will still be existing. Do you get what I'm saying? Like having the values that I've set in store. Do you get what I'm saying? So I think, yeah, I want young people to kind of move in that way, that we mentality, not the I mentality.
Yeah.
You know, I talk about that a lot with young people that I support.
And being intentional, like you keep saying.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. What keeps you motivated and inspired to continue your work in Poetic Uni? I think you've answered that throughout this
Definitely
whole...
the young people. Yeah. Listen, like me and my missus talking about this the other day. She's like, oh, like, you know, you're getting a bit older now. Like, do you feel tired? Do you get what I mean? Like, and I'm like...
You slowing down yet?
Yeah, am I slowing down? I'm definitely not yet. But you know what I will say? I was saying this to her. I was saying, like, I don't like that word, can't. I find it difficult to be out every day now. Like, if I'm out, like, before, I could be out 6-7 days a week and I'm good. But now I'm like, I might need like 2 days out, 1 day in. Because there's a lot of work from home I need to do as well. Like admin and whatnot and just meetings and partnerships and stuff. So there is a balance I have to strike a bit now. Like I'm like, yo.
But a lot of it's energy exchange as well.
That's what I'm saying. And our work isn't just sitting on the computer.
Yeah.
We're talking to people. I'm in the community dealing with serious issues as well. So I guess like, but saying that though, being around young people gives me that energy to keep going as well. And like, again, most of the people I'm around are like 25 and under. So obviously they got energy, most of them. Some of them have got more energy than them. Then.
Yeah.
Some of them might watch this and be like, yo, you know what I mean? They're trying to keep up with me. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to be like me when they're older. You get what I'm saying? But yeah, I would say young people keep me going and also like keep me excited about the work. And I'm always thinking about, and even me, like I think one of my main strengths is like being innovative, like and thinking of new ideas. I like that doesn't come just from my brain. That comes from being around the new generation and understanding them. And I think a lot of charities struggle because they're not around the new gen.
Yeah.
So they don't understand them. How can you provide support or services for a community you don't understand?
Yeah. And you're telling them what they need opposed to hearing
exactly.
what they need.
Yeah. We literally talk to our young people and ask them, what do you need? And also, because we're in the community so much, sometimes we can see what they need and we'll say, this is what we're going to do next. Yeah. They're like, oh yeah, like that's great. You know what I'm saying?
And if you've had lived experience as well, then you know what you probably needed when you was younger. So yeah, man.
100%. That's where the Man Them Let's Talk program came.
Yeah.
From what I needed when I was younger. That was the idea.
That's heavy. I like that. So finally, if you could offer one piece of advice to a young person who may be struggling to find their voice or express themselves, what would it be?
I mean, cliche would be to say write a poem. I won't even say that. I would just say, lean into your beliefs, lean into education and what you care about and what you actually want to achieve, and then talk about it to your peers. And that might just be conversations that, you know, small conversations with your friends, that over time you'll start feeling more confident about speaking about it, because when you do the education, you know the knowledge. So no one can't say to you, yo, you're trying rubbish.
Yeah.
Again, going back to the Black Panthers thing, no one can't tell me about certain things now because I've done my research. You get what I mean? So when someone says, oh no, they didn't like white people, bruv, I've done my research. Do you get what I'm saying? So you can't tell me nothing. And that's the thing, when you have that confidence that you know what you're talking about, then your voice is going to be heard and you're going to be much more confident to say how you feel. Do you know what I mean? Because you've done your research into it.
I like that. Thank you so much for joining us. One more time, please give people, our listeners, the details of how they can get in touch with your organization, your social medias, angles, etc.
Yeah, so the website is poeticulnity.org.uk. The Instagram and TikTok are the same, at Poetic Unity. The Twitter is poetic_unity, and Facebook is even some old school thing. We still use it, you know what I mean? Facebook is Poetic Unity Project.
Okay, cool. And we'll put all the links at the bottom of this podcast as well. So again, Ryan, thank you so much for joining us. I wish you all the best. Not that you need it because you're doing so great anyway, but yeah, we'll hopefully we'll be able to collaborate at some point. So thank you again for joining us.
Thank you for having me, man. It's been great.
Thank you. Guys, thank you for listening to this episode. Hopefully we'll see you next time, and take care and stay blessed.